So apparently Jake Paul has been getting in the likes of Ray Ford and Shakur Stevenson in for sparring to help him prepare for Gervonta Davis. Now, honestly, my opinion on this is mixed, because if you're Jake Paul, from Jake Paul's end, of course, if you want to prepare for a world champion at 135, it makes sense to get in another world champion at 135. And of course, Shakur Stevenson, in my opinion, is the best boxer at 135. It's between him and Andy Cruz. Shakur and Andy Cruz 1A, 1B at 135. And that's been my opinion for a while. That being said, they don't fight similarly at all. Do you know what I mean? It would have made more sense getting in a Kid Austin, a Floyd Schofield, or someone who's actually been on a Jake Paul undercard as well. So stylistically, he's a lot closer to what a Tank is than a Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson and Tank, they're both counter-punchers, I would say, but that's really where the similarity ends. Tank is much more of a pot shot counter-puncher, whereas Shakur's a return with combinations. I mean, still somewhat pot shotting, but they're a lot sharper, whereas Tanks are a lot duller and they're more powerful and there's a lot more behind them, and he stops dudes. Shakur's not stopping dudes like that. So stylistically, a bit of a weird choice. Ray Ford, is very athletic, very strong, able to put his punches together nicely. He's a bit more like Tank than Shakur Stevenson. But from a boxing purist point of view, there's some people that think that, Ray Ford and Shakur are sort of sold out by working with Jake Paul. And I understand the ideology that, Jake Paul's an outsider, but he's really not at this point. This dude's not really an outsider anymore. This dude is pretty much a boxer. Like, he's not going to win a world championship at cruiserweight, but I don't think he wants to. Like, if you're Jake Paul and you're fighting Tank Davis, you've got no interest in winning a world championship at cruiserweight. So people are like, well, he's never going to beat a world champion. No, he's not going to. Okay. Does that mean he can't box? Does that mean he's not allowed to box because he's not going to be a world champion? Is that what they're trying to say? Does he make the sport a bit of a joke? Sometimes he does. But his dedication to the sport speaks volumes, in my opinion. The fact that he has dedicated his life to becoming a boxer. Like, how can I sit here and say this guy's not a boxer when dude has literally dedicated his life to boxing? Like, he doesn't do anything else. You don't see him doing these vlogs all the time. You don't see him doing all these podcasts all the time. Occasionally, of course, he's going to do that because he is still a social media influencer. That is his bread and butter. But dude has dedicated his life to boxing now. So dude's a boxer. So if this was any other boxer getting in Shakur Stevenson for sparring, then you wouldn't be turning the other cheek. You wouldn't be, saying Shakur's a sellout. But because Jake Paul is, and granted, because Jake Paul is a cruiserweight and Tank Davis is a lightweight, getting them in for sparring. But obviously, again, stylistically, both of those guys are a lot bigger than Tank as well. Tank's, 5'5", 5'6". Shakur's 5'9". Raymond Ford looks about 5'10" as well. These guys are a lot bigger than Tank, and stylistically, they don't have a huge amount of crossover. So unless Jake Paul's asking these guys to particularly imitate Tank's style, which even then would be a bit weird, because there's better guys that fight naturally closer to that sort of style of boxing than the likes of Shakur Stevenson. Stylistically, it's a bit weird, but again, it's a big name. It's a big name, and it's made headlines, and it's made guys like me make a video about it. So maybe Jake Paul knows what he's doing here. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you think Jake Paul, or do you think Shakur Stevenson, is selling out by working with Jake Paul? Or do you think this is just part of the game, it's part of business, and part of boxing? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Another episode of the SELLOUT SideQuest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.